Staying healthy is a fundamental goal for everyone, but some individuals seem to be more susceptible to illnesses than others. While it's common for people to experience occasional bouts of sickness, certain factors can make some individuals more prone to frequent illnesses. In this video, we will explore the various reasons why some people get sick more often and what factors contribute to their increased susceptibility. Despite all the vegetables we eat or vitamins we gulp down, sooner or later pathogens, such as viruses and harmful bacteria, infiltrate our bodies, and we need to take a time out. We sit back and let our immune system do its job. But when it comes to getting sick, not all immune systems are equal. Some people seem to get sick much more often than others. One could easily conclude that these individuals, such as elementary school teachers or hospital workers, are merely exposed to sick people more often. But susceptibility to illness isn't as simple as the odds of being exposed to someone with a cold. Each person gets sick differently. Moreover, people recover differently. Not everyone returns to their baseline level of health after the flu or COVID. In general, one would consider three main factors. One would be genetic susceptibility. You're born with a genetic predisposition to becoming infected more easily. You could have inborn errors, such as polymorphisms in genes, that are well described for host immunity. Second would be environments where there's a heavy burden of infection. If you look at our ancestors, a lot of them passed away by the time they were in their 50s because they had a greater antigenic load before there were vaccines, higher living standards and better sanitation. These are kind of static factors. But then the third factor is response to inflammatory stress. I might respond in one way to one infection and in another way to a different infection. Environment plays a role, and that same genetic thing that's protective against one infection can be detrimental for another infection. People show variation in how they respond to these challenges, which could also have a genetic basis. When we respond to challenges, we all have what I would call a burst of inflammation. We all need some inflammation, but it has to be the right amount, at the right place at the right time. The injured or infected site gets swollen, red and warm. These signs of inflammation at that site are saying, "Help, I need white blood cells," to show up at that site, to ward off further spread of this inflammation and to allow for healing. The body produces these chemical substances, which we now call chemokines. Chemo stands for chemoattractant. It's the attractant for white blood cells. There are people who can be hyperinflamed and hypoinflamed. People vary in their amount of inflammation. In our study, being able to control inflammation and preserve immunocompetence was associated with being asymptomatic. Some people are infected, yet don't get sick, because they had a really good inflammatory response. It seems that people in some professions, such as teachers, get sick more often. One reason is in part related to the microbial load. You're taking 30 or 40 kids into close quarters. Not everyone will get sick. It's a subgroup of these people. This susceptibility is population-based, not individual-based. If I took a group of daycare workers, they have so much exposure to respiratory viruses, influenza, and so on. The greater the exposure, the greater the likelihood. We go through such cycles repeatedly in our life. There will be some people who, despite these repeated cycles, manage to preserve that resilience piece. There will be some people whose response is moderately degraded, and there will be some people who have this susceptibility at any age to degrade. That's what we call non-optimal. The traditional way of doing research is to compare the old versus the young. This presumes that the only thing that is different between a young person and an old person is their age, when in fact that's not quite true. One might need to break down the old group into varying degrees of immune health. As a whole, a group may be at greater risk of getting infections, but that risk is largely localized to those people with eroded immune health. Among that group is a subset who are susceptible to degraded immune resilience, that is, among people of a similar age. We know that as one grows older, one's immunocompetence declines. So, these infections tend to degrade our immune health at any age. We could categorize people into 4 groups. People who have high immunocompetence and low inflammation, by definition, the most protected group, live longer. These people will, unfortunately, after controlling for age, die sooner than others. Over time, there was a recovery process. We have these injury repair cycles. If people have too much injury and not enough repair, they will have some residual inflammation. They got hit with influenza, and then, over time, they recovered, but there was a small group who had this residual stuff left behind. Some of the fittest people have gotten the flu and passed away. Among people who have good immune health, can I predict a priori that they will do as well during an infection? We do know that people, even young people, who have poor immune health, don't do so well after a vaccine. When I see older veterans walking into the hospital with a mask on, because it tells me they still understand the basic principle that their immune health is poor, or they've been informed of it, and they protect themselves. Your diet and exercise also play a role. People who maintain regular sustained exercise, not just periodic exercise, are afforded immune benefits. There's a huge behavioral component to all of this to change human behavior, to mitigate risk. I think behavioral change is so difficult. One of the primary factors behind frequent illnesses is a weakened immune system. The immune system is responsible for defending the body against harmful pathogens, viruses, and bacteria. However, genetic predispositions, underlying medical conditions, or certain lifestyle choices can compromise the immune system's functionality. When the immune system is weakened, it becomes less effective at fighting off infections, leading to more frequent bouts of illness. Long-term or chronic stress has a significant impact on overall health, including immune function. Prolonged stress can disrupt the balance of hormones in the body and suppress the immune response, making individuals more vulnerable to infections. Furthermore, stress often leads to unhealthy coping mechanisms like poor sleep, inadequate nutrition, and an overall decline in self-care practices, further compromising the immune system. While everyone experiences occasional illnesses, some individuals are more prone to frequent sickness due to various factors. A weakened immune system, chronic stress, poor nutrition, lack of sleep, environmental factors, age, and lifestyle choices all play a role in increasing susceptibility to illnesses. By understanding these factors, individuals can take proactive steps to strengthen their immune systems, adopt healthier lifestyles, and reduce the frequency of illnesses. If concerned about frequent illnesses, it's always advisable to consult a healthcare professional for personalized advice and guidance on maintaining optimal health.
We made extra efforts to produce such kind of informative videos. If you feel that this video gives you some kind of valuable information, then like and subscribe this channel. Share this video with your family and friends. Hit the bell icon so that you will not miss any such kind of informative videos.